Prepare-se para saber como foi feito o verdadeiro e incomparável clássico Disney Hércules, agora em vídeo para você.
É isso aí, isso!
Oh, yeah! Bless my soul. Was on a roll.
Só o inigualável talento da equipe Disney poderia transformar esta lenda da mitologia em um dos mais sensacionais desenhos animados que você já viu.
The first Disney feature really that's based on mythology rather than fairy tales or folk tales.
Ora, olha só.
A história conta as incríveis aventuras de Hércules desde a adolescência até a idade adulta. Enquanto luta contra as forças do mal, ele aprende o que é preciso para se tornar um verdadeiro herói.
He was a god, son of Zeus.
Que fofura. Obrigado, obrigado.
And he was basically, he came to the earth, which made him mortal, and he can't return to Mount Olympus unless he proves himself a true hero.
Não é estranho?
I think he starts out the movie really wanting to be a hero just for the sort of, the glamour of it all.
Eu tenho até bonequinho!
And he sort of discovers, through beating up, huge monsters that what a true hero is.
Criadores de sucesso como A Pequena Sereia e Aladdin, os diretores John Musker e Ron Clements transformaram a lenda de Hércules em um desenho animado divertido e cheio de ação que agrada a pessoas de todas as idades.
Ah, tá! Valeu a informação!
Call this thing sort of an epic comedy, so playing comedy against people's expectations of Greek mythology, which are often kind of stuffy or something academic, and we tried to make it very contemporary and accessible.
E eu já estou começando a gostar.
John Musker and Ron Clements, our directors and writers, are some of the funniest people I've ever worked with. And certainly their signature is that kind of zany, irreverent, anachronistic comedy.
A música é um ponto fundamental nos filmes Disney e o genial compositor Alan Menken, vencedor de vários Oscars, e o premiado letrista David Zippo deram a Hércules uma trilha sonora de arrebentar.
I aim in each score to write a score that has its own personality. And in the case of Hercules, it's the combination of the gospel and R&B mixed with this heroic classical theme, and that really makes up the spirit of Hercules.
Desde o início, decidiu-se que as musas gospel teriam um papel importante na narração desta história extraordinária.
In some way, gospel really fit this movie because it's so big and it's about hope and it's about dreams.
They're harmonizing, they blend perfectly, and they are hitting notes that are in the stratosphere.
I think they use as guideposts to kind of keep the story in focus and keep it going along smoothly. The music is R&B, gospel, and it rocks.
Now he's a honcho, he's a hero. He was a kid with his act down pat.
Musker, Clements e a equipe de criação trabalharam os personagens e as cenas em animadas sessões de storyboards.
I'm right behind you, kid. I'm way behind you, kid.
Assim que a história fica pronta, os atores colocam suas vozes, dando uma nova dimensão aos personagens.
I'm right behind you, kid. I'm way behind you, kid.
O elenco olímpico inclui os talentos de Tate Donovan como o lendário Hércules.
They're only interested in me because I'm famous.
Danny DeVito como Phil, o treinador meio homem, meio bode.
The words! Trouble!
Susan Egan como Meg acerta o coração do herói.
So, they give you a name along with all those rippling pectorals?
Can I ask you a question?
James Woods como o esquentado Hades, senhor do mundo das trevas.
Everybody knows it's working if we're all laughing. If we're laughing, it's working. And if we're not laughing, then let's think of something better.
E os trapalhões e atrapalhados personagens Pânico e Agonia recebem um tratamento hilário de Bob Catgoey e Mac Fleur.
Agonia! E pânico! Se apresentando!
Rick Thorne faz o poderoso e amoroso Zeu. Paul Schiffer empresta sua personalidade ao mensageiro Hermes.
We're a little low on nectar. Bacchus got here early.
E a narração de Charlton Heston ajuda a preparar o palco para a comédia.
Powerful gods and extraordinary heroes.
Ele tá fazendo essa história parecer uma tragédia grega.
Pega leve.
Com as vozes prontas, começa o trabalho dos desenhistas.
Minha parte do jogo preferida.
There's a voice and a drawing. I want the two to combine nicely. With James Woods, it was so funny. He was like really emoting, jumping around. Ah, you have the voice of a siren. When I went back to the studio, the design that sort of took on his features.
If we're trying to come up with a character that's defined mostly by an emotion that comes from his name, you could see that in his eyes and then just build the rest of it from that particular emotion.
Conhecido por vilões inesquecíveis como Scar de O Rei Leão e Jafar de Aladdin, o veterano desenhista da Disney, Andreas Deja, aceitou o desafio de ser o artista por trás do grande herói do filme, Hércules.
And I thought, what about a hero? I've been critical of some of our hero characters in the past, and maybe I can put my pencil where my mouth was and just animate.
This is great!
With Tate Donovan's voice, it just gave me a good springboard because he's a very, very good actor, very lively. And there's an energy and a sort of a naive quality in Hercules, which we found through time.
Trabalhando com a talentosa equipe da Disney estava o renomado artista Gerald Scarfe, criador do filme avant-garde Pink Floyd The Wall.
Well, I'm called a design consultant, and Ron and John, the two directors, seem to want to get my kind of look into the movie, the way that I draw and the characters that I have. They seem to want to try and infuse that into the movie as much as is possible.
A influência de Scarfe como consultor artístico ajuda Hércules a se destacar dos demais filmes da Disney.
Gerald Scarfe's style demanded being bold and simple and not fussy with details.
It's such a departure from what we've done previously in terms of the styling.
I think this, more than any of our recent Disney films, really moves forward and really shows a whole different world, a whole different look.
Muito bom! Excelente!
Sempre na vanguarda tecnológica, os animadores da Disney combinam técnicas tradicionais de animação com os avançados recursos de geração de imagens por computador. O mago da computação, Roger Gold, explica como estas visões criativas se complementam.
Over the last 10 years, the studio has been using computers more and more in each film to do that thing that we couldn't do before. The Hydra, which is this great mythological monster that you slice off a head and it regenerates and it becomes more and more horrible and ferocious. And they said, no, previous depictions, we've seen 3 Hydra heads or 6 or 9, but could we do 30?
Era de Zeus. The Hydra is a particular challenge and a natural for the computer. Since we didn't want to draw a 30-headed Hydra, we can duplicate aspects of it.
Quer parar de cortar essas cabeças?
But it is quite a challenge to organize it and animate it in a way that doesn't look like duplication.
Como é que é o nome desse negócio? Aliás, detestei!
Embora a Hydra fosse o maior desafio, a equipe de computação gráfica da Disney procurava novas formas de levar as plateias a novas alturas.
We have Olympus, which is the city that's not simply built in the clouds, but it's actually a city made of cloud. And the directors wanted some way to realize that. So by using morphing, we were able to take a very small number of paintings, like 2 or 3 paintings, and actually have the computer create the animation that goes between them. So that we suddenly can have Hercules' crib rising up out of the clouds.
Hércules está repleto de visões espetaculares e uma história envolvente. Cerca de 700 artistas, animadores e técnicos trabalharam nesta produção.
We really embrace the art form and don't take ourselves too seriously.
Então, como se faz um grande clássico de animação que leva mais de 3 anos para ser produzido?
2 palavras!
Com diversão!
A gente dança, se beija, faz um hobby, se diverte e vai pra casa feliz. Que tal?
Yes, Cindy!
Valeu o esforço, H. Sabe mesmo agradar.